Right, morning grade 8. Welcome to the second part of our lesson. Now we are going to talk about food chain. We have spoken about feeding. Sabona different levels of feeding. Sabona go to the first part. We have got what? Producers. Producers are, they make their own food. Plants. Or grass kanjalo. Now next on the level started we have got consumers. Those are the animals that cannot make their own food. If they cannot make their own food, they must find their food somewhere. Now we talk about what? Feeding. Where an organism make what? Take another organism and make it its own what? Food. Under feeding now. Then we will have the consumers. We divide them under different categories. The first part of our category, Kuluma about what? Herbivores. Those are the primary consumers. Herbivores, what do? They are plant eaters. So they eat only plants. You give example kanjalo abo donkey, abo mule, abo cow, kanjalo nabo rhinoceros. Second part, now we are talking about animals that do what? That eat other animals, that eat plants. Example you give there, abo lion, cheetahs, example, another one. Abo wolf kanjalo They are carnivores. They are the secondary consumers. The third part we have got what? Tertiary consumers. Those tertiary consumers we call them what? The animals that eat other carnivores. Like for example, we've got what? The eagle. The eagle may chase what? A jackal. We know that a jackal chases prey for food. So it's very easy for an eagle to come down and chase what? A jackal. Now, under carnivores, we have got also what we call scavengers. Scavengers are the ones that do what? Eat dead animals. They come in Jack section anyway. This is yadla. This is one is file. This is yenzani. Yadla. And the last part of our feeding, we have got what? Decomposers. What did we say about decomposers? Organisms that feed on the remains of other animals or on the waste of other animals. Now, if a donkey decides to go to the loo and leave behind ublongo, what will happen? The beetle is going to come and start what? Taking that. Yeah, those are the insects. So also we've got another animals that eat what? Another insect. We call it insectivore. Also we forgot to talk about what? Omnivore under consumers. Omnivores, what do? They eat both plants and animals. Now let's go back to decomposers. Decomposers, how do they help us? Yes, they help us to recycle what? The nutrients back to the soil. Now let's go now and talk about food chain. Food chain, notice how the energy starts from what? The sun. We see that now the sun releases radiant energy and the plants manufacture their own food. We call them producers. Right. Second on the level there, what do we have? Locusts. And what? Frog. And what? Bird. An eagle. So all those three, they are called what? Consumers. And notice in my food chain, I didn't include what? Decomposers. Now, the food chain city is Sizangan. It shows us the pathway of energy, starting from the producers all the way down to decomposers. It helps us as it moves from one organism to the next one in an ecosystem. Now, notice ecosystem here too. I beg yours, food chain here too, it only shows us how many parts? One pathway. It shows us one pathway. The arrow is facing where? To the front. During an exam here match, in voting food chain, give niggas mkhambe ama organism of 4. Get a food chain. Make sure that the arrow it always point what? To the right hand side. If it points to the left, I'm gonna remove what? 1 mark. And also you must draw what? I'm a box work on it. And also I'm a box work, there must be at least 4 organisms on it. Mine about 3, I subtract 1 mark. On it. Make sure that we are here. Now siyabona manje uthisha sekachazile ukuthi i-primary consumer ileyo idlani ini utshani or i-plant angithi. So it's a consumer that eat what? Plants angithi. So in our primary consumer then niyayibona abantwana it's what? A low caste. The low caste will then, the energy that the low caste have, the next one, the remaining one, 10%, will be transported to be used by what? Frog. The frog. The first one, energy that is contained in the plant. 90% of it is used by the plant. 10% is used on by the next organism edlayo ini, that grass or that plant. So in other words, we are transferring 10% from this organism to the next one. I'm going to ask you a question one day. Explain to me why only 10% gets transferred into the next organism. Isilwane sine 7 life processes that must take place. So all those 7 life processes, they think an energy. Most of the energy is used for what? For those 7 life processes. Only 10% is going to be gained by what? By isilwane leso sizodla leso silwane esikhuluma ngaso. Kuyazwakala bantwana? So 10% kanjalo ke. Now the frog is called what? Secondary consumer. Secondary consumers, they eat what? Primary consumers. Now we've got what? A tertiary consumer finally, which is what? The eagle. Finally, when the eagle die, what happens? The decomposers. The decomposers, they feed on the remains of an animal or on the waste of that animal, and they help us to recycle the minerals and nutrients back to the soil. Now let's look at the terminology of the food chain. Producer, photosynthetic organism that get energy from the sun. Next one, we've got the primary consumer. That is the first degree consumers. They are the first to feed. Because the first one we've got what? The plants. Secondly, what do? We call them herbivore. Now, most energy get used, some energy get lost as heat, some get passed on to the secondary consumer. That sum, 10% next to it. Out of the energy that an organism have, only 10% will be used by the next organism that is going to eat what? That organism. And it. So now let's move. So it's primary consumer. So next one is a primary consumer is first to feed. We call it herbivore. Let's look at the next one. Next one is called secondary consumer. They are the second degree, second tier level. So what do? They eat the primary consumer. Angit. Pela all lion, they eat what? Abo donkey, abo cow, kanjalo, okay, angit. Ingako we call them carnivore. Nabo omnivore, but belong to that group. Nabo scavenger, but belong to that group. Angit. Yes. So it's combolot an omnivore, which is a pig. A pig. It's like okay, a pig meets a locust, a pilayo. Is it going to leave it? It's going to chow it and eat. But tlangana nama carrots izwenza izodla and eat. We understand why it is an omnivore and it. Now scavenger abo hyena. Some of them. Some of us are close to amahlati amakhulu. So those wild animals, we do hear them. Feeder. So that scavenger is that animal that come when another animal is it just come to eat. Another scavenger is what? Siba ne flyer phezulu lapha. If inkomo yaka malume John ifile. Sibona ngayo qala yenzani? Isi rounder. Angithi. Let's look at the food chain. The last one, tertiary consumer. Oh, leyo idlani. Idla there. I go now. Tertiary consumer it eat there. Secondary consumer. Angithi. So one. As I begin the last one, the decomposer, they eat the remains of what? Of the consumers. They eat the remains of the consumers. Normally, pre-consumer, whether primary consumer, secondary consumer, or what? Tertiary consumers. Toilet. So that decomposer, when it comes, a fly in number tell a number go it. Whether belong bonkomo or whether it remains a lion or whether it is a human remains. Yenzanjani it decompose. If fly a figure number go it. Better yenzanjan. It lays the thing on it. So go Zanjalo, what does it do? It obtains the little energy that is left from the consumers. Yeah. So next time, tuzokhuluma nge food web. If food web uzoyibona ukuthi zonke ziqala ku producers. Bese we've got various pathways. Singakwazi ukukhipha i-food chains. So i-food web is just a network of interconnecting food chains. I-food web yenziwe yini? Ama-food chains amaningi are interconnected. At any way uyakwazi ukukhipha yini i-food chain eyodwa. uyakwazi ukuthi okay, starting from mesquite, eaten by wood rat, eaten by weasel, eaten by bobcat, or by hawk. Angithi? So it provides the complete picture of the flow of energy in an ecosystem. Injalo, okay, still the same thing. Right, so khuluma ngayo the next lesson.